Okay, cheap ass low effort intro, here we go! I am Ninja. My parents are the heaven and the earth. My home is my body. My power is loyalty. My magic is training. My life and my death is breathing. My body is control. My eyes are the sun and the moon. My ears are sensitivity. My laws are self-protection. My strength is adaptability. My ambition is taking every opportunity with fullness. My friend is my mind. My enemy is carelessness. My protection is right action. My weapons are everything that exists. My strategy is one foot in front of the other. My trust is in Kwon. My way is the way of the tiger. Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry, and it's time at last for some more of The Way of the Tiger. Now, when last we were playing, we found ourselves trapped in this underground magically sustained arena. And it was looking pretty nasty. I did say I'd read this whole section again before continuing. So yeah, why don't I just do that? Yeah? The floor of the arena is divided into sections. In the centre, a huge hobgoblin brandishing a trident stands at the top of a miniature castle, which is surrounded by a large moat. The circle outside the moat is divided into 4 sectors by fences of iron spikes. The sector to your left is a small plain of grass. To your right is a frozen lake, created magically. Beyond the plain is a lurid green swamp, and between swamp and ice is a desert of sand dunes. You are standing on a platform between the grass and ice, and I'm just going to quickly check everything's recording. That all looks good, okay. At the opposite side of the arena, a man in silver armour, his face hidden by his visor, stands on a similar platform. Between you both, to your left, is a dark elf waving her black steel sword defiantly. And at the edge of the arena to your right stands a young man in flowing blue and gold robes. On the ice lake stands a snow giant, 10 feet tall. 2 roaring lions roam the plain. You can see nothing but a boat in the swamp, and in the desert waits a man with the swaying head and neck of a cobra. That would be the cobra man we met earlier, and actually I want to have a little talk about that at some point soon anyway. As you look around you, the platform begins to slide down towards the ground, and you will soon be within reach of the lions or the snow giant. Indeed, they can now move freely into each other's area. The walls of the arena are sheer and lined with the spears of soldiers. The man in armour steps down onto the dunes, as the dark elf wades into the swamp. The man in blue and gold robes waits still, so he's waiting between the sand dunes and the icy plain, waiting to see what we do. So we've got the knight going there, the dark elf going there, and we can go. So this will be empty because there's 2 flipping lions in it. The ice giant, he's more of a yeti, if we see his artwork.
Do I want to move to the plain and take my chance of the lions, or step onto the ice lake? Well, ice giant sounds very bad and dangerous. So, based on memories of my first playthrough about 28 years ago, I think I need to go through at least 2 areas before I can reach the moat and the central region. And I think I need to go to the grass first, then the ice. I don't want to go... I don't want to go straight to the ice. So we'll see how it goes. So, grass it is, where there are 2 lions. We could maybe hide in the long grass, which I doubt. Lions are quick and fast, and we are only human, but we are a ninja. The lions also have a strong sense of smell, probably, but let's see how things go. So, 243. And there's that snow giant there. Looks like he should be on Sesame Street or something. Or looks like he might be related to Honey Monster, actually. As you step onto the plain, the man in blue and gold moves onto the ice lake. The lions, slavering, rush towards you. They are large and strong. You cannot help admiring their speed and power. Will you meet them on the grass or retreat onto the ice lake? I'm going to retreat onto the ice. Because lions are, cat's feet, right? And cats and dogs don't do well on ice. They kind of slip and slide around all over the place. So sure, yeah. Remember, not trying to be super hardcore here, trying to stay alive. I have an important religious mission to fulfill. You run to the ice and leap onto it, sliding away from the lions. They charge after you, but lose their footing on the treacherous surface. The look on their faces is quite comical as they experience something completely unexpected. You manage to negotiate your way past them using your excellent sense of balance. Each time they lunge at you, their feet slip and they fall flat. You sprint across the plain and leap into the swamp. The lions, gaining the grass again, snap at your heels but pull up short at the edge of the unnaturally green slime. Well, so far so good. We have not died yet. Let's press on into the swamp where the dark elf went. 172. And it's worth noting that in this world, the dark elves are small, almost goblin-like creatures. Something that becomes more apparent in the artwork in the later books. You leap into the slimy green swamp and sink nearly to the waist. The bog sucks at your feet as you fight your way towards the boat, which rocks gently in the middle of the morass of mud and slime. The dark elf is also bent on gaining the boat, but there is a sudden eruption of mud and slime as a featureless mass of blubber and threshing tentacles surges out of the water before her. It is a shaggoth, or slime beast, which wraps its stinking tentacles around the shrieking dark elf. You briefly catch sight of the desert where the knight is battling the Cobra Man. We could go and aid the dark elf. However, here's the thing. We are not a hero. We are a ninja. She's a competitor. She was waving her sword around as if she was going to kill people, and I imagine if we save her from this beast, she won't be particularly grateful because she will see us as an obstacle to her getting to the central portion of the arena. Make a grab for the boat, wade on past, and drag yourself out into the desert. We will grab for the boat. Because it's there, right? Also, the shaggoth is not a shoggoth, despite the distinctly similar spelling. You grab the small boat as the shaggoth sinks slowly into the mire, dragging the struggling dark elf with it. She gives vent to a bubbling scream as she sinks slowly beneath the surface. To your dismay, the boat is full of cracks and holes and has let in a great deal of swampy water. Will you jump in and try and row it to the moat? No, it'll sink. Or abandon it and drag yourself over to the desert dunes. All right, I suppose I'll go to the desert then. I didn't really... I mean, the Snake Man's there, and the Cobra Man, and the Knight in Armour. As you near the sunken platform that separates the swamp from the desert near the arena wall, there is a bubbling in the mire ahead of you. You change direction and, planting your foot on a mossy hummock, launch yourself into the air and flip over the high fence of iron spikes, drawing another gasp from the crowd. You land on your feet and survey the arena for a moment. The Dark Elf and the Shaggoth are nowhere to be seen. The man in blue and gold robes has slain the snow giant, but the knight in armour lies in an awkward position on the dunes, where the Cobra Man towering over him. A long, thin pole is propped up in a dune near the knight's body. You decide to attack the Cobra Man to gain the pole, hoping to vault across the moat. The Cobra Man's head sways hypnotically above you. He is waiting to strike. Will you use the tiger paw chop, the winged horse kick, or the teeth of the tiger throw? Which one is the teeth of the tiger throw? Let's see. Aha! Aha! So, to launch ourselves into the air and grab his giant cobra head, which we've seen in the previous illustration, between our feet, and twist. I don't think that's going to work very well, to be honest. Right. What have we? Tiger's paw chop, that's the karate chop, and the winged horse kick is the... yeah, the back one. Huh. Sweeping up. His head is above us, waiting to strike. We probably shouldn't turn our back on him. So yeah, we're going to go for the tiger's paw chop. And it is at this point that I will reveal... wait for it... that Rolls is back up, and in fact it never went away. Yeah, Rolls is HTTPS and not the 3 Ws, and that's why I couldn't find the website last time. Silly me, eh? Right, so we're going to want 2d6, and as the Cobra Man's lidless eyes watch warily, waiting for you to commit yourself to strike the back of your hand towards the swaying neck. Swaying, not swinging, well, it's kind of doing both. But you will do well to beat the Snake Man's whip-like strike. His defense is high. He has 10 endurance. We'll make a note of that. Yeah, we may suffer significantly in this fight. In fact, do I want to use inner force? I think I want to try and land a few blows first, okay? 11! That is a successful karate chop, or judo chop as Austin Powers would say. So we'll sling that down to 1d6 and do some damage. 2 whole points. 2 points. There we go. If you failed to chop it... no, we haven't failed. Oh, is he going to hit me every time I fail an attack? Because if so, that means I definitely can't commit to throws. Because every failed throw would result as well. Or he might get me, and he could be poisonous as well. Oh, wait, what? He doesn't retaliate. He doesn't attack back. So maybe, as long as I can sustain a chain of successful attacks, I will hit him and keep hitting him. And then when I miss with an attack or fail to strike him, then he'll get me. And I do hope that does seem really bad though, that it's got its own separate section to go to. He's poisonous. He's deadly. Yeah, so I'll go for a winged horse kick and hope it's not harder. 25. The Cobra Man's strike is as fast as your own as you turn sideways on and drive your heel towards his chest. His defense remains the same. So I'm needing another 8. Oh. Yeah, this could be really bad. This could be deadly. Oh no! That is failure! If your kick has missed, he strikes home and possibly kills us. He killed the armoured knight. Probably with... Oh god. The Cobra Man's strike is blindingly fast and his fangs sink into your arm, pumping a deadly venom into your veins. If you have not developed immunity to poisons during your training, you find it suddenly difficult to breathe. You fall back onto the sand and die as the roaring of the blood in your ears mingles with the roar of the crowd. Your adventure is over. Immunity to poisons has been developed! It's so funny! I was going to say at the start of this episode that so far we have not had to rely upon our skills very much. In fact, I'm not entirely sure our skills have been called into use more than a single time so far in this adventure. And you might think that's bad, but for the first book where we only have 3 skills to choose from, calling on skill checks less often will be good, because it will allow someone who might not have chosen certain skills to go, oh, okay, yeah, I actually get to use this one now, that's useful. Whereas in the later adventures, where the skill checks can become more frequent, you also have more skills, so you have less chances to get caught out and go, oh damn, I didn't take that one. Well, if you are immune to poison, the venom has no effect. The Cobra Man's fangs still tear your skin and you bleed. Lose 2 endurance. Hey, we can live with 2 endurance loss, right? I mean, if he's only ever going to do 2 points of damage, let's go for the Tiger's Paw Chop. Just because we can. That was lucky. I tell you, woof. Yeah, deadly poison. So glad I took immunity to poisons. Wow. As for Cobra Man's lidless eyes watch warily, waiting for you to commit yourself. You drive the back of your hand towards the swaying neck, but you will have to do well to beat the Snake Man's whip-like strike. Okay, let's do it. Yes! That is a successful punch for 5 points of damage! Reducing him to 3, which we can take with a single punch or kick. I'm going to go with the kick, because the kick is the same difficulty, but it's 2 extra points of damage and therefore a guaranteed kill as soon as I can pull it off. So let us do that, because otherwise I could end up having to deal with up to 3 punch attempts. The Cobra Man's strike is as fast as your own as you turn sideways on and drive your heel towards his chest. I will absolutely drive my heel towards his chest, or at least in its general vicinity. Yes! Ho ho ho! I am fortunate, and kicked him in the chest. Nice one, Snake Man. 8 points of damage! That's 5 points of overkill. Gorgeous. Okay. Woohoo! If you've... Well, I'm not sure about killed, but definitely subdued or slain. We must have kicked him in the chest so hard his heart stopped or something. Right. Wow. Okay, I'm on 394. The Cobra Man lies spread-eagled on the sand. Dead. The crowd roars with approval as you pluck the pole from the nearby dune. You grab one end and, holding it out before you, sprint to the edge of the desert and, planting the pole in the sands, sail over the wide moat, which you notice is infested with floating mouths, voracious fish that are all mouth and elastic belly. You land on the wall, which is the lowest part of the castle, as the man, dressed in blue and gold, floats across the moat on a small ice floe which has broken away from the edge of the ice lake. Yeah, I bet he broke that away with his magic. Turn to 372, one of the more memorable sections of the adventure. Look, there's the hobgoblin up there with his trident. He looks mean, super confident. And here is our young magician with his strange, rather square symbols along the bottom of his robe. One arm completely concealed. And his hands out. We've got a nice crowd. We have a crowd of baying for blood, practically roaring. A lot of people standing. 3 semi-T-pose standing people in the same crowd. Oh, okay. It's almost like those scenes in Gladiator where they're like photoshopped in the same crowd over and over again. Anyway, I tell you what, I didn't notice those 3 people being in the same pose when I was younger. I was just like, wow, this is an amazing picture. This is great. The roadman steps towards you. He is young, no older than yourself, and his eyes twinkle merrily. A golden disc hangs in front of his chest on a necklace of coral. The hobgoblin watches, thumping his trident in the castle tower. The young man speaks. Greetings, fellow combatant. I will not ask what crime you have committed that the people of Mort Avalon sent you into the arena. Instead, let me make a suggestion to you. I am a magician. My spells are potent and deadly. You notice that his golden and blue robes are unruffled as he continues. I have killed the giant of the snows, and I could kill you, but then I would have to kill that, too. He points at the hobgoblin. And if I died, not one of us would have survived. Let us make peace and kill that foul beast together. Then let the crowd decide which of us shall live. Here, clasp my hand on it. He offers his hand. If you wish to accept his hand, either to throw him into the moat or to join him, turn to 363, or if you would rather attack him in some other way, turn to 351. Now, those of you who enjoyed the last episode may recall that after we had saved the young boy from the Cobra Man, he had shouted after us, "Do not trust the young magician." Here's a magician. He's young. He has been described as young 2 or 3 times now. I will remember the clue from someone whose life I saved, and I will attack him in some other way. Seeing that you will not clasp his hand, the magician begins to chant a spell. If you have the skill of poison needles, you may wish to use one. Let's see if I do. Skills. I do not have the skill of poison needles, so I must attack him with an iron fist punch. Alright. You slam your fist towards the magician's midriff, but he touches the golden disc which hangs on his chest, and the air around him takes on a greenish tinge. He has created some sort of magical shield, and it slows your blow. His defense against your punch is 6. Let's see if I can get him. I mean, it would be really nice, wouldn't it? Oof. Oh no! Oh no, he's going to do some kind of powerful spell now. 311. I hope I don't die to The small dart speeds past his ear. I have no darts. Let me check something. This is highly suspicious. Right. So, 372. Let me just make a note of this. Okay. $351. Poison needles, 389. $311. It's the same section. Huh. So, the important question then, 338, right. So now we're going to go back to 351. Doing a little detective work here, okay, to see if there is an error. 326. Oh damn, right. 253. So 351 is for success for the poison dart, also 253. No, it's 338. So that could be an incorrect section. It would also be instant death and a horrible way to end the playthrough. I mean... oof, yeah. I've not been recording very long. Look, you know what? Because that looks suspiciously like a misprint, pointing towards the wrong auto-kill. Oh well. Let's look at it anyway. Ah, joy. The small dart speeds past his ear, and the magician's eyes widen in surprise. As you prepare this time to kick the magician, he points his finger at you and speaks words which seem to leech you of your strength. You totter feebly as the hobgoblin bounds down from his castle tower. The magician retreats and watches the hobgoblin advances on you, waving his trident. You are too weak even to run, and he drives the trident barbs into your stomach before lifting you on the tines of the trident and trailing you in the moat. The water boils as the floating mouths come to feed, and within minutes your flesh has been stripped to the bone. You know what? I almost feel cheated by that dice roll. Because of the possible misprint, I want to re-roll. It's not... So... let's stop a moment and think how I want to handle character death. 7+, that should have been a relatively easy, slightly more than 50% chance of success. Now, ooh, it's a nasty way to go, but okay, so I like I like coming this route through the arena because not only is it the way I played the first time I played all those years ago, but also because it feels like a more natural story progression. If I had avoided the arena, I could have got into a very tough fight and gained a permanent +1 punch modifier, which might have made my punches more reliable. And then I would have been able to progress on to an area where I could have found something really helpful that I would have known nothing about and had no reason to find. If I come this way through the arena, I do risk life and limb, but afterwards I get information pointing me towards that thing that is really helpful and useful, and it's kind of like the summer sword in Lone Wolf, as in it's a really useful thing that I don't want to miss out on. And while I know from having played through this book previously that I can ignore the arena and go find it by supposed blind chance, abusing player knowledge of where the thing is, it's nicer to think of this more as a first run playthrough, right? It's like, because even though I, the player, know these things, I, the character, do not, and therefore Avenger has no idea to go look over somewhere and find something. You know, it's like, no. I like the way that it is done, so that's why I'm coming this way. So in light of that, okay, let's look. I have perished. I need to go back to the beginning and start all over again. This means that I would play up to this point. There is enough healing in between fights for me to be on pretty much full health at this point in time. The only thing that would change would be any damage I'd taken here in the arena. Because, or if I took quite a beating from the pirate captain after fighting the ogre, then I might not quite be as near to full health as I am now. So it's almost reasonable at this point to continue. Do I want to pause and think on that in between episodes? No, I think I'll have that reroll, because I really would like to... There we go, that's more like it. So, we can theoretically pretend I went back and played all the way through everything, and I hope none of you mind too much. Please do let me know in the comments down below if you do mind, or if you don't, or if this would have been a good point to end the episode and start all over again, because I don't want to abandon the series quite this early. And I would have carried on with this book, you know, playing back from the beginning, but only starting recording when I got to this point again, or where I diverged from my previous path. But since I would have stuck to this course, I feel it reasonable. I mean, that's nasty difficult. So let's push on. Okay, so let's pretend, no, that two, yeah, 8 is what I rolled the first time, right? Yeah? 253. Gonna judo chop him and teach him to try and cast a spell of weakness on me. Your punch is so powerful that despite the magical field of force which protects him, the magician folds and a winged horse kick sends him flying through the air into the moat. The water boils as the floating mouths latch on to their prey. Within a minute his flesh has been stripped to the bone. You climb up towards the hobgoblin in his tower. The beast is showing off to the crowd, confident of another victory, beating his chest, which is twice as broad as yours, and twirling the trident in one hand. The tower is roughly built, with many handholds, and you move around it, keeping the hobgoblin confused as your precise position. Then, holding an outcrop of stone with your hands, you swing up into the air behind him. He whirls around, and you leap. You attack him with blinding speed. Will you use the leaping tiger kick, the whirlpool throw, or the tiger paw chop? Which one is the whirlpool throw? I think that's the Aikido, yes. If he's lunging with a trident and then taking him and going with it, sure. And I'll close that so I don't have a duplicate open. I will attempt the whirlpool throw. This may be an error, but I think he's a reasonably normal component. 267. The hobgoblin tries to shovel you up on the end of his wicked barbed trident as you dance sideways and try to grab its shaft so that you can whirl his heavy body over your hip. Oh, his defense is only 6. That's nice and low, so he is not ready for this. But we were. So down he goes in a heap. If you throw him successfully, you see him roll and come to his feet, but you attack him while he is rising. You can punch or kick, adding 2 to your kick or punch modifier for that attack roll. I'm going to go for the kick, because kicks are hard, and he has... We don't know how much endurance he has. We'll find out when we try to kick him, I suppose. Right. 281. He has 18 endurance points, which is actually quite a lot. Given that we've thrown him and reduced his health by 2, I am going to use a point of inner force to double the damage of this strike. The hobgoblin tries to transfix you on his wickedly barbed trident as you jump into the air and lash out with the ball of your foot, hoping to take him in the throat. Oh, please, game, please. I only need a 5. 7! In your face, hobgoblin, or rather your throat. 1d6 plus 2. Give me a nice high number, please. 6! So that's a 12-point kick to the jugular. Oh, he has had it now. If you killed the hobgoblin, oh, I wish. If the hobgoblin is still alive, he jabs the trident at your stomach. Your defense against this jab as you dodge in the confined space of the turret is an 8. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Okay, then. Wait. No, because he needs to roll over that to hit, right? So a defense of 8 is good. Unless defense is inverted and I've completely forgotten. Oh, the joy of being able to have 2 different book PDFs open at once. Right. When an opponent attacks you, you'll be given a defense number. Come out, roll 2 dice. If the score is greater than this number, you have been hit. Yes, yes, yes. And then we can use blocking as well afterwards. Right. Okay. Sure. So he's going to try jab us with his trident and fails miserably, which is great. And as he tries to jab, we're going to try the whirlpool throw again, because that is awesome. 267. So we're going to try throw him as he comes jabbing in there. Oh, that is a failed attempt. If you fail to throw him, he elbows you in the ribs with bone-cracking force. Lose 2 endurance. Ugh! So, elbow in passing, or en passant, as chess players would say. If you're still alive, he tries to spit you with his trident. Your defense against this is only a 7, reeling from being elbowed in the ribs. Oh, that is successful. You know what, 1d6 plus 3, we can take 1d6 plus 3. I mean, it's going to hurt. Oh, 4. Yeah, we took it. Right. Ooh, okay. Trying a throw again will be dangerous. So, let's go for a kick. Another leaping kick. So, 6 looking for 7s. 2 dice. 8! 1d6 plus 3. Praying for a 6. 9 is certainly good enough. That showed him, kicked him in the throat, and he collapses in a gasping for air heap. 272. Hooray! Victory is ours! And we totally didn't re-roll against the magician. Except we did, but shh, don't tell anyone, okay? The crowd cheer as you throw the hobgoblin's trident into the moat, and the castle itself begins to sink into the ground. Searching the vile body of the swart beast, I'm pretty sure that should be swarthy. Swarthy being brown and leverish, like a Spaniard, with dark hair and maybe like wrinkles and a bit of saggy skin. Searching the vile body of the swarthy beast, you find a vial marked Magic Potion, the hobgoblin's prize for winning in the arena. It had been his most prized possession. Removing the stopper, you detect the unmistakable odour of essence of fire newt. Not a magic potion at all. The hobgoblin had been tricked, but you may find a use for it and decide to keep it. We will indeed have our essence of fire newt. It may come in very useful. Later on. The castle disappears from the view of the ecstatic populace of Mort Avalon, whose bloodlust you have temporarily sated, and a passage leads you to the street outside. A press of people gathers around you. An aristocrat's butler offers you a job as a bodyguard, as you are both showered with rose blooms. You try to get away from these unwanted attentions, but a man tugs at your iron sleeve. You turn, ready to cobra strike, but he says, "Do you come from the island of Tranquil Dreams? Will you admit that you do, or say that you have never heard of such an island?" Now, the island of Tranquil Dreams is a very remote and relatively secret location. Not a lot of people even know that it exists. To ask this very specific question, this man needs to either know that I am coming or be familiar with the techniques taught there as opposed to the techniques of the other martial artists. This means he could be a spy, another ninja, out to try and kill me, of the red mantis or black... no, red scorpion or black mantis? No, red mantis and black scorpion. Yes, I was correct the first time. But I doubt that, because they have somewhat different techniques. It'd be like in all the old martial arts films, where it's your technique is unusual. Yes, this is my leaping swan kick to the face. Your leaping swan kick to the face is no match to my iron paw block tiger string wank of doom. And he pulled out a piece of string or something. Actually, it reminds me of an old martial arts movie I saw where the old wise man beats up a bunch of street thugs with his 2 chopsticks and his empty bowl that he was eating rice out of. And at one point during the fight, he just puts the bowl like a cup over a man's ear and taps on it really hard with the chopsticks. And the man, reels in pain as like the sound waves go into his ear. It's a ridiculous comedy fight. Anyway, so I think I'm going to trust this man because previously, when we've met with religious people, we have placed our trust in them, and our trust has been rewarded. So, being familiar with the Island of Tranquil Dreams, it gives me a sense that I can trust this man. So I shall. 242. He tells you that he is a monk who worships Kwon and invites you to go with him to his monastery in the Gardens of Redemption. Redemption and Kwon go together, yes, that's okay. The temple is set in a rose garden, and you are happy to find a safe haven where you may meditate and seek help. You kneel at prayer in the bare temple, and beside you the monk intones the psalm of Kwon the Redeemer. Oh god, this is the test, isn't it? This is the test. Right, this is the test which can be failed if you don't beat God Obey at the beginning. No, it's not. There's another test later on where you are tested on the ninja code. And if you don't know it, and you don't guess it right, you kind of miss out. As you meditate in the temple, your body and soul seem filled with the harmony of Kwon the Redeemer. You may restore up to 3 points of inner force as the god lends you his power. Wow, I should have been using more inner force. Takes me back up from 4 to 5. The monk, Bartholdi, recognizes that you have the favor of Kwon and asks you to preach to his brothers in the refectory before dinner. You decline, telling him instead of your quest. Upon hearing that you are a ninja, he agrees that only he and the local Grandmaster should know of your mission. The Grandmaster, Bartok, a frail old man, wise but weak, is filled with fear at your news. He has heard, however, that Yaemon has passed through Mortavalon 8 days since, perhaps, he thinks, heading for the monastery of the Reverences of Vile in the city of Feendil. It could be Feendil. And with Vile, Feendil, it's more word names, I'm afraid. There are so many word names in this series. He advises that you strike north towards Fortune Pass, so that you may come to the lands of snow before the Grand Master of Flame. He continues, There is a man who lives in the mountains, a mystic, but a follower of the way of the tiger. He is older than I, but by the grace of Kwon he has remained fit and strong. His name is Togawa, and long ago he was the Grand Master of the Dawn on the island of Tranquil Dreams. He lives on Mount Gualodrun, and from there he sets his mind free to roam all the planes of existence. He may be able to tell you where you can find Yaemon. Togawa the Mystic is bound to be of great assistance to us in our quest. We shall heed the old Grand Master's words. You dine alone in a small monkish cell, and your sleep refreshes you. Restore up to 4 points of any lost endurance. We will absolutely do that. That will take us exactly back up to 16. On the following day you leave the monks to prepare against the day of darkness, should you fail your mission. You have not caught up with Yaemon yet, and so you leave the city through the northern arch in the morning. Will you strike across the wastelands towards Feendil, head due north to Storm Giant's Causeway, or head northeast to Fortune Pass and the mystic Togawa? Right. If we had not entered into the arena, we could still have found the mystic Togawa purely by accident, but it feels correct that the monks of the worshippers of Kwon the Redeemer have told us to go seek him out, so that is what we shall do. On the morning of the 3rd day out from Mortavalon, you are high up in Fortune Pass. The air is crisp and scented with mountain heather. Mount Gwelodrun rises to a jagged peak before you. You climb up the scree slope at its base, slipping backwards whenever the pebbles avalanche until you reach a belt of pines. At the tree line, the mountainside becomes sheer and dangerous. If you are a skilled climber, I fear we are not. We do not have the skill of climbing, which I intend to pick up at the end of this book, beginning of the second book. This goes to show that it would have been really useful to have the climbing skill at this point. However, we've used arrow cutting, we've used immunity to poisons. The only one we have not used yet is picking locks and disarming traps, which I believe we will need before the adventure is over. So, 133, we do not have the skill of climbing. This is going to be rather perilous indeed. The rock face towers above you, and you realize that it is a dangerous time. If you wish to go on, you will be in the hands of fate. This is called Fortune Pass, after all. So we must press on. We must attempt to do everything within our power to find Togawa the Mystic, and if we don't, it's kind of game over anyway. Make a fate roll. If Fortune climbs her back on you... Sorry, if Fortune turns her back on you, turn to 143. If fate smiles on you, the climb is arduous, apart from the moment when a small ledge of rock crumbles under your foot, uneventful. At last, the wall of rock gives way to the entrance of a cave. I believe it's a 7+ to be lucky. And I will check that with book 2. And the computer's doing the horrible thing of just not bringing up... Yeah, right. Fortune is a 7, yes. And now that I've looked that up, of course, I've probably jinxed it. 7! On the nose! So, that crumbling ledge was possibly nearly our doom. But we've made it to the entrance of a cave. High up in these rocky mountains, seeking Togawa the Mystic, who will hopefully be able to help us in our quest. The cave is dark, and you stare into the blackness until your eyes become accustomed to the gloom, before calling Togawa's name. The skeleton of an elk of the Western Isles, with antlers nearly 20 feet across, lies on the rocky floor. The huge thigh bones have been cracked open for their marrow. You step cautiously forwards, but freeze as you hear what sounds like an ox breathing heavily. You are tensed when a 10-foot tall rock hulk attacks. You try to block his heavy blow, but it sweeps your arm aside and whirls you against the side of the cave. Lose 4 endurance points due to being winded as this thing just hurls me up again. So there's those 4 points I got back, right? Gone. If you are still alive, you throw yourself headfirst to the ground and somersault towards the monster, then rolling upright and lash out with your foot in one fluid movement. The rock hulk flails at you, grunting in pain. You dodge its claws, but the beast seems impervious to your blows, and the battle rages for some time. Suddenly, a monk appears from nowhere, seemingly in mid-air. The rock hulk looks up just as the man lands before it. The monk spins to the right with his left foot, presenting his back to the brute, and whips his right foot round and up into the rock hulk's midriff with speed even you can hardly believe. He screams as his inner force is released, and the kick poleaxes the rock hulk, which shakes the cave as it falls rigid to the floor. And there he is, kicking it with a great swinging round kick. The monk turns to you and bows. My name is Togawa. Please follow me. His own cave is a short climb above that of the rock hulk, and you follow him to it. Wow, look at that. That's a huge rock hulk right there. That could pulverize a man. I mean, standing straight, okay, so maybe he's about that tall standing straight. But even so, let's go to section 66 and be grateful we made the climb. The cave is bare. Togawa sits cross-legged on the floor, and you follow suit. He compliments you on your skill in the way of the tiger, but, recognizing that he is more accomplished than you, you compliment him in turn, commenting on the kick which killed the rock hulk. He offers to show it to you, He calls it Kwon's flail, and it is more powerful even than the kicks which you use. Note it on your character sheet as a new kick you have learned. We will absolutely do that. I'm just going to sneak a look at my character sheet from book 2 to... I wrote it after the kick. Got it. That's how I did it. You may add +1 to your kick modifier for the advice which Togawa gives. Again, we will absolutely do that. Meaning that it will now be 1 point easier to hit with kicks. You tell him you are from the island of Tranquil Dreams and of your mission, asking for his help. He surprises you by asking this question: where is your home? Do you answer, I have no home. My home is my body. As I said, the island of Tranquil Dreams, or I believe in Kwon, the world is my home. Well, fortunately, I was directed to write down section 177 so I could go back and look at the ninja code any time. However, since I'm also using the ninja code as the introduction to the series, and because I played this game years ago and love it to bits, I'm pretty sure the answer here is my home is my body. Because this is the point where you are quizzed on the ninja code, and which of these sounds more like something a religious monk who is trained to become a ninja would say, I have no home, my home is my body. Watch as I get it completely wrong now. Togawa nods. What are your weapons? My weapons are everything that exists. All the way down to 304. I've gone a bit far there, haven't I? Okay. Ooh, close, and there. Wow, there's an auto kill just over the page. Right, well, let's not look at that, because those are nasty, right? Togawa nods again and asks a third question. What are your eyes? My eyes are the sun and the moon, you say, reciting the words of the secret litany of the ninja grandmasters. I am ninja. I follow the way of the tiger. Togawa beams at you. A grandmaster of the 5 winds, he says. I must do my best to help you. You sleep on the cold floor of the cave, but in your dreams... Yes, what went wrong there? I tried to say flames instead of cave. That's what went wrong there. But in your dreams, Togawa, his body silver and ethereal, appears to you, stretching out his hand. You take it, and he lifts you out of your body. Looking down, you can see yourself asleep in the candlelight. Soon you are far from the cave, washed by a ethereal wind. You hold on tight, knowing that without Togawa's guidance you would drift helplessly. The skills of the ninja cannot aid you here. The monk points ahead to a gleaming archway beyond which a silver pathway stretches up into the clouds. Cherubs flock around its pillars, and a guardian angel, flawless and white, stands between them. This is the gateway to the 7 heavens, says Togawa. We may not enter yet. As he speaks, a sinuous form takes shape on the silver road. It slides past the guardian angel, and as it approaches, you see that it is a perfect tiger, but its fur is white, and its eyes are blue. The spirit tiger is a servant of Kwon, says Togawa. She will help us. As the tigress looks at you, she passes on a part of her knowledge. She has stalked Yaemon on the ethereal plane undetected. She has stalked Yaemon on the imperial... I will get this right. I will. She has stalked Yaemon on the ethereal plane undetected even by him. Yaemon and Honoric, marshal of the Legion of the Sword of Doom, who worships the god Vash Ro, are journeying to the faraway city of Druaf Glenan, at the edge of the far snows. They will meet a third there, Mance the Death Mage, a potent and evil sorcerer who reverences Nemesis, the supreme principle of evil. Vashro is so far the only non-word name we've come across as her god, I think. Together they plan to journey to the Pillars of Change, and each knows a secret word which will bind a god or goddess in Inferno. This is information we might have gained earlier from the Grand Masters of our own order, which we might have missed out on if we had not defeated Gorobei. However, it is more detailed, I think. You realize that you must journey to Druath Glenan as quickly as possible. The Spirit Tiger blesses you, and fate will smile on you. Your fate modifier is now +1. That's good. So lucky on a 6+. It must have been lucky on a 7+ before I changed it back from +1 to +0. When you awake in the morning, he says, "The unholy alliance must be stopped. Of all the evil gods, only the followers of Vile, Vashro, and Nemesis would have the discipline to join together. Nemesis is the greatest of the evil gods. Never before have 3 such powerful and evil men trusted each other." He pulls a bag of herbs from a crack in the rock. "These have healing virtue," he says. "You take them and may use them at any time when you are not being attacked to restore up to 8 endurance." You thank him and are about to ask him if he will accompany you when he lies down on the cave floor and falls asleep. Sensing that there is no further help to be gained, you begin the climb down Mount Gualadron to the pass below. A day later you enter the foothills of Fortune Pass, which I will find in section 70. However, that will be in the next episode. I hope you've all enjoyed this one, and I will look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. I'm going to say bye-bye for now, and cheerio!